Total awareness is awareness without thought. This is not brain dead or spaced out. This is here now in totality. Thought takes energy. Detachment from thought conserves energy. I'll add that energy conserved is multiplied. Time passes much slower in thoughtlessness. This is a way to circumvent time. Timeless, thoughtless. Your opponent is hindered and encumbered by thought. Beware, he has skill and training, even instinct, but he is slowed down by thought. He is in time, so he can be defeated. If your opponent is hindered and encumbered by thought, how could you intentionally hinder and encumber him? All right, here's another one. Here's another one from January 2001. What happened to you in your life to make you feel compromised? Why don't you know you're incredible? There is nothing to be afraid of. Just be at ease. Be here now. Be calm and confident, relaxed but not silly. Just be. All thoughts and speculations, the nervousness and fear, all originate in thought and imagination. There is no way it is. Is this moment, which immediately becomes the past. There is only being, which leads to what will be. What will be? Be here now. Now faith is. Each of these three statements can be mixed around separately and always have the same meaning. Try that. Take the words be here now, that statement, a three-word statement. Mix it up. Now here be. Now be here. Mix it up any way you like, and it will be the same. Same with now faith is. Faith is acting upon a belief. Now is faith. Faith is now. Same with what will be. Be what will. Will be what, and you can finish it from there. Use your will, be confident in your abilities, and relax. That's empowering. Wow. All right, now this is on people who think that they are their past. It says here, a lot of misguided young fellows may have in early adulthood found themselves full of too much drink and seeking with great passion and zeal romance in the arms of very, very fat and ugly ladies. Okay, bear with me here. The next morning, much to their chagrin, they seek quiet escape, and as time goes by, they may cringe, but still smirk at the laughable stupidity of the situation. Embarrassing, but shrug it off and life goes on. So why do so many cling to the past and impinge upon their present selves with mishaps? Perhaps there is security in the familiar, understanding. The personal past, no matter what it held, should be laughed off. To do otherwise, to define oneself by temporary actions of the past, is complete foolishness and self-hindrance. You think of all the times you messed up, and you associate it with your present effort? How stupid. The key is motion. Motion causes motion. Things and beings and people evolve. Don't retard your personal evolution by thought. Step freshly forward into each new moment of time unencumbered by your thought or memory. Then you are unchained and cannot be defeated. The programming since childhood to doubt and compare is to be deprogrammed. The moment is always fresh and soon dead. Stay in the moment and you are never dead. Never lean, never reach. Simply stand, and stand when walking. Don't lean when walking. Get it? The smart reader will. Well, there was some humor at the beginning of that. That was very, very powerful. So often we retard our personal evolution. We impinge upon us some idiocy from the past. When we could just break free and throw that, it doesn't matter. All you have is right now. And right now is your future. Because after all, if you hold your hand up, my hand is up right now. Now that's in the past. See? So you always have the present moment. The present. My hand is no longer up. The fact that it was is irrelevant. Now, some people say there are some things I can't undo. Perhaps you got pregnant and had a child. That's a wonderful thing. That's a gift. Okay? It is how all meaning is context dependent. The power you give something is the meaning you give it. And too often in life, people give things meaning that should have none, or very little, like our misguided young man who had too much to drink and sought love in the arms of Bertha. Okay, so there's a laugh there, but that is just fantastic. That is just fantastic. Now here, I'm going to share one more with you called hardness. And this doesn't refer to being static or stubbornness, okay? This is talking about when you have a sword, the sword should be hard, okay? Otherwise, it will bend or break, okay? That's what I'm talking about. So this has to do with the mind sword and really a strong will, okay? If you're not hard, you won't make it in life. You'll have a mediocre life. To make it, to really make it and go where you want to go, you have to be hard. Hard on others and hard on yourself. There's no time wasted with the hard man. He cuts through how he feels. He cuts through low energy and gets to the point. In hardness, there's no compromise. This has to do with intention. This has to do with the yi, the will of intention. There's no compromise. When you work, and when you play, and they're never on the same day. You cut through your misconceptions about yourself and your abilities and immediately become what you need to become in order to do exactly what you want to accomplish. You don't need validation by others or institutions. Your validity is omnipotent because it was ordained by yourself. You do not allow others to involve you in their weakness or problems. The best way to help them is to simply allow them to read this letter on hardness. Everyone is making excuses and having those excuses validated by the softness of others. Softness is helping people fail. Set a standard, stick to it, and insist others rise to it if they want your companionship. The only way to it is through it. Self-mastery is mastering every moment. The warrior is always in control. To prevent strain from this winning path, remember your mantra is, stay hard. You know, I looked through these notes I wrote 10, 11 years ago. And I see the strong value that was coming through. Looking back on these writings, I see a lot of passion and power and purpose. And you can see back then, I started teaching in the late 90s, and that my philosophies were coming through. The application of ancient into the real world now. So that it wasn't just some esoteric, philosophical, intellectual discourse. It was actual application to get a result. And that's what being a warrior is. It has an edge. That's what it's about. In a way, I feel my writings of old are sort of like a tiny, and these are just a few of many, a modern-day Hegekure. It's really beautiful. And in no way would I compare mine to the Hegekure, but you get the idea. The spirit is there. So I'm going to read you a few of my notes from the Hegekure. And one of them is, be determined and advance. You wouldn't want to write that one down. Be determined and advance. Be determined and advance. That one wouldn't be very good to write down, would it? If by setting one's heart right every morning and every evening, one is able to live as though his body were already dead, he gains freedom in the way. What's he talking about here? Is because we often cling to our bodily comforts, and so we're so concerned with how we feel that we don't take courageous action. My solution for depression? Have someone go dig a ditch all day long. Pretty soon they'll be too tired and weary to be depressed. It's like you have too much time to sit around and think and worry. Get out there and move your body. And exercise actually produces endorphins. And you start to feel good from those endorphins. See, the reverse is also true. A lack of movement and sit around ingesting bad foods and hearing bad things and taking in negative energy and information and sitting around destroying yourself with thought, the next thing you know you're depressed. Then you seek relief through a pill, which is kind of like you smell bad, so rather than bathing, you put on perfume, and you continue to be more dirty and more dirty and more dirty. So this is my personal opinion on that subject. Here's another Hegekure highlight. Approaching subjects that are dear to him, seek the best way to speak and to be well understood. Wow. To give a person an opinion, one must first judge well whether that person is of the disposition to receive it or not. What's my modern way of saying that? Let me read it to you again. To give a person an opinion, one must first judge well whether that person is of the disposition to receive it or not. Of the disposition to receive it or not. When do you go for the kiss? You knock on the door and she answers, kiss me. No. You wait till rapport is good and feelings are good. In other words, are they in the disposition to receive it or not? Now, that's not call avoidance. When you're in sales and you have to go make calls and knock on doors, you can easily trick yourself where they're not ready to receive it. Bam! That's a different technique. That's where you yourself get ready, okay? Approaching subjects that are dear to him, seek the best way to speak and to be well understood. Judge the occasion. Praise his good points and use every device to encourage him, perhaps by talking about one's own faults without touching on his, but so that they will occur to him. By bringing shame to a person, how could one expect to make him a better man? Ooh, listen to this, all you hellfire and brimstone Baptist preachers, and all you guilt mongers, who all say you need to confess and that you're evil. By bringing shame to a person, How could you expect to make him a better man? Do you think that he'll find his conscience? Do you think that he'll repent? That may work for some, but more often than not, they continue. Motion causes motion. They continue to go lower and lower and lower. Perhaps there's another better way. Okay. Thus I knew that men's spirit had weakened and that they had become the same as woman, and the end of the world had come. This is the Hegekure I'm reading to you. Yamamoto Tsunemoto, the Book of the Samurai. That's what they said hundreds of years ago. Since I witnessed this with certainty, I kept it a secret. When looking at the men of today with this in mind, those who could be thought to have a woman's pulse are many indeed, and those who seem like real men, few. Because of this, if one were to make little effort, he would be able to take the upper hand quite easily. Wonder why I had that other line. He who sees from the side has 8 eyes. Thought by thought, we see our own mistakes. He who sees from the side has 8 eyes. Wonder if we were just talking about Hakulau. Here's another one I have highlighted in the Hegekure. I hope you're enjoying my personal notes. I do not know the way to defeat others, but I know the way to defeat myself. Throughout your life, advance daily. Become more skillful than yesterday, more skillful than today. This is never ending. Among the maxims of Lord Naoshige's wall, there was this one. Matters of great concern should be treated lightly. Master Ite commented, matters of small concern should be treated seriously. Among one's affairs, there should not be more than 2 or 3 matters of what one would call great concern. If these are deliberated upon during ordinary times, they can be understood. Thinking about things previously and then handling them lightly when the time comes is what this is all about. To face an event and solve it lightly is difficult if you are not resolved beforehand. And there will always be uncertainty in hitting your mark. However, if the foundation is laid previously, you can think of the saying, matters of great concern should be treated lightly as your own basis for action. He's talking about confidence through superior preparation. No matter if the enemy has thousands of men, there is fulfillment in simply standing them off and being determined to cut them all down, starting from 1 to n. You will finish the greater part of it. I like that. Even if it seems certain that you will lose, retaliate. Neither wisdom nor technique has a place in this. A real man does not think of victory or defeat. He plunges recklessly toward an irrational death. By doing this, you will awaken from your dreams. The samurai were hardcore back then. Oh, goodness. Yamamoto Tsunemoto, the author of the Hegekure, lived from 1659 to 1719, so over 300 years ago. A samurai retainer of the Nabeshima clan, lords of the Hizen province, who became a Buddhist monk in 1700 after the shogun government prohibited the practice. Oh, my goodness. This book was dedicated to younger samurai during the author's seclusion over a 7-year period. Interesting. It's fantastic. Good, powerful stuff. Listen to this. It is because the samurai has correct manners that he is admired. Remember, everything is communication. How you dress, how you appear. Take more note of your appearance and your speech and your body language. It is not good to settle in a set of opinions. It is a mistake to put forth effort and obtain some understanding and then stop at that. At first putting forth great effort to be sure that you have grasped the basics. Then practicing so that they may come to fruition is something that will never stop from your whole lifetime. Do not rely on following the degree of understanding that you have discovered, but simply think, this is not enough. One should search throughout his whole life how best to follow the way, and he should study, setting his mind to work without putting things off. Within this is the way. An affected laugh, that means a fake laugh, shows a lack of self-respect in a man and lewdness in a woman. It is because of the mind that is right now pure and lacking complications. People in general all seem to be dejected. When one has a pure and uncomplicated mind, his expression will be lively. So look at, how should a person respond when he is asked? As a human being, what is essential in terms of purpose and discipline? First, let us say, it is to become of the mind that is right now pure and lacking complications. Our study of the Hegekure was fun. Our old notes were awesome. I hope you enjoyed seeing me break a concrete block on my chest and know that you can break whatever you thought was impossible. Because it was only your thinking that made it so. Take action on your friend, on your dreams. Go from inspiration and thought to action to result.